Hi friends, very good morning to all of you and welcome to YA Educational Academy. Right friends, in this session we are going to study the second chapter in the 8th class NCERT book, Social Sciences. Friends, the first chapter we have studied is resources. In that chapter we have learned what are resources and what are the different types of resources, that is natural resources, man-made resources and human resources themselves. Right friends, we also learned the ways to conserve the resources, and as well as we understood the concept of sustainable development. Right friends, in this chapter we are going to study and understand land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife resources. Friends, simply these are the natural resources. Right friends, there is an anecdote, and this tries to tell us the story of and importance of the resources in the people's lives. Right friends, there is an example of Mamba and Peter. Friends, Mamba and Peter stay in two different parts of the world and lead very different lives. Friends, if you understand the anecdote, Mamba hails from the African continent and Peter from the New Zealand, which is the comparatively prosperous region in the world. Right friends, this difference is because of the differences in the quality of land, soil, water, natural vegetation, animals and the usage of technology. So because of all these factors, both Mamba and Peter, they live different lives. Right friends, now we try to understand the one of the important natural resource, that is land. Friends, land is among the most important natural resources. It covers only about 30% of the total area of the earth's surface, and all parts of this small percentage are not habitable. So land covers only 30% of the earth's surface and the rest 70% is covered by oceans. And in this 30%, a large part of the soil is uninhabitable. Right friends, the uneven distribution of population in different parts of the world is mainly due to varied characteristics of land and climate. So population distribution is not uniform across the land. So this is because varied characteristics of land and as well as climate. Right friends, here you can see one of the settlements on land. Friends, now we will try to understand the land use. Friends, land is used for different purposes. Friends, such as agriculture, forestry, mining, building houses, roads and setting up of industries. So land can be used for these different ways. So this is commonly known as land use. Friends, the use of land is determined by physical factors such as topography, soil, climate, minerals and availability of water. So land use is determined by these factors. Right friends, human factors such as population and technology are also important determinants of land use pattern. So there are physical factors and there are also human factors. Friends, land can also be classified on the basis of ownership, such as private land and community land. Friends, community lands are also called common property resources. Friends, people and their demands are ever growing, but the availability of land is limited. So this fact you know very well. The population and their needs are growing, but the actual size of the land is not growing. Right friends, people started encroaching the common lands to build up commercial areas, housing complexes in urban areas and to expand the agricultural land in the rural areas. So in urban areas to expand the commercial activities, and in rural areas to increase the area of agriculture, the common lands have been encroached. Friends, today the vast changes in the land use pattern also reflect the cultural changes in our society. So the land use changes also reflect the cultural changes in our society. Right friends? Land degradation, landslides, soil erosion, desertification are the major threats to environment because the expansion of the agriculture and construction activity. So please remember the threats faced by land resources. Those are degradation, landslides, soil erosion, desertification. So these are all major threats faced by land resources. Friends, you can in this picture you can understand the changing scenario of the land use pattern. So here the most the settlements are small, and here the settlements a little bit increased, and in these two pictures everything is impacted and occupied by the human beings. So this picture beautifully explains the changing nature of the changing pattern of the land use. Right friends, we will now try to understand the conservation of land resource. Friends, growing population and their ever-growing demand has led to a large-scale destruction of forest cover and arable land, and has created a fear of losing this natural resource. Friends, afforestation, land reclamation, regulated use of chemical pesticide and fertilizers, and checks on overgrazing are some of the common methods used to conserve land resources. So what are the measures through which we can conserve the land resources? Those are afforestation. Afforestation is planting more and more trees. And the second thing is land reclamation. So land reclamation is, the land, degraded land. Once again, when we convert the degraded land into useful one, that is called land reclamation. Hence, other one is regulated use of chemical pesticides and as well as fertilizers, and the last one is checks on overgrazing. So by all these methods we can conserve the land resource. Friends, we will try and learn one term, that is weathering. That is, friends, weathering is breaking up and decay of exposed rocks by temperature changes, frost action, plants, animals and human activity. So that is called weathering. Friends, now we will try to understand what is soil. Friends, the thin layer of grainy substance covering the surface of the earth is called soil. Friends, landforms determine the type of soil. So landforms determine the type of soil. Friends, soil is made up of organic matter, minerals and weathered rocks found on the earth. So soil is made up of organic matter, minerals and withered rock found on the earth. Friends, this happens through the process of weathering. Friends, the right mix of minerals and organic matter makes the soil fertile. Friends, we will try to understand an important concept, that is landslides. Apart from prelims, you may get a question in the mains also, in the section of disasters and disaster management. Friends, landslides are simply defined as the mass movement of rock debris on or earth down a slope. Friends, they often take place in conjunction with earthquakes, floods and volcanoes. Friends, in the hilly terrain landslides have been a major and widely spread natural disaster that often strike life and property and occupy a position of major concern. So in the hilly and slopey areas, this is a major threat. Friends, in this image you can see the landslide, how it impacted the residential areas and as well as the nature. Right friends, here is a case study. A massive landslide hit Panji village near Rekongpu in Kinnaur district of Himachal Pradesh. Friends, you know very well that Himachal Pradesh is a hilly state and it is really prone to landslides apart from Uttarakhand. So Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh are very much prone to landslides. Friends, here are some important mechanisms for mitigating the impact of landslides. Please try and remember these points. Apart from prelims, you can directly write these points in the mains examination if a question comes regarding the landslides. Friends, advancement in scientific techniques has empowered us to understand what factors cause landslides and how to manage them. Friends, some broad mitigation techniques of landslide are as follows. So some of the important measures, mitigation measures are hazard mapping to locate areas prone to landslides. Hence, such areas can be avoided for building settlements. Second one is construction of retention wall to stop land from slipping. So friends, in this picture you can see this is the retention wall and this stops the soil from moving. Friends, the third one is increasing the vegetation cover to arrest landslide. So by increasing vegetation cover we can prevent the landslides. And the fourth one is the surface drainage control works to control the movement of landslide along with rainwater and spring flows. So by controlling the speed of the flow of water, we can prevent the occurrence of landslides. Right, friends, here in this picture there is the explanation of soil profile. Friends, this is the topsoil with humus and vegetation, and the second layer is subsoil with sand, silt and clay, and the third one is withered rock material, and the last one is parent rock. So this picture explains the soil profile in a beautiful way. Friends, we know one fact here. It takes hundreds of years to make just 1 centimeter of soil. So this is really a long time taking process. Right, friends, now we will try to understand the factors of soil formation. Friends, the major factors of soil formation are the nature of parent rock and climatic factors. So there are two important factors, that is, one is parent rock and the second one is climatic factors. Friends, other factors are topography, role of organic material and time taken for composition of soil formation. Friends, all these differ from place to place. Right, friends, now we will try to understand them in some detail. So the climatic factors are temperature, rainfall influence rate of weathering and humus formation. Friends, the time factors determines thickness of the soil profile. Friends, flora, fauna and microorganisms, these affect the rate of humus formation. Friends, relief, altitude and slope determine accumulation of soil. And similarly, parent rock, this determines color, texture, chemical properties, mineral content, permeability. So friends, all these factors have their role in formation of soil. Right, friends, degradation of soil and conservation measures. Friends, soil erosion and depletion are the major threats to soil as a resource. Both human and natural factors can lead to degradation of soils. Friends, factors which lead to soil degradation and deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers or pesticides, rainwash, landslides and factors. Friends, these are all factors which lead to soil degradation. Those are deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers or pesticides, and rainwash, and as well as landslides and floods. Friends, now we will try to understand some of the soil conservation measures. The first one is mulching. Friends, this is the bare ground between plants is covered with a layer of organic matter like straw. Friends, it helps to retain soil moisture. This is mulching. Right friends, contour barriers. Friends, stones, grass, soil are used to build barriers along contours. Friends, trenches are made in front of the barriers to collect water. Right friends, the third one is rock dam. Friends, rock are piled up to slow down the flow of water. This prevents gullies and further soil loss. Okay friends, the fourth one is terrace farming. Broad flat steps or terraces are made on the steep slopes so that flat surfaces are available to grow crops. They reduce surface runoff and soil erosion. So in this picture you can understand what is terrace farming. So here the flats are, the terraces are made, and in the flat surfaces we can grow the crops. So this will effectively prevents the erosion of soil. Friends, the other one is intercropping. This is different crops are grown in alternate rows and are sown at different times to protect the soil from rain wash. Friends, the other one is contour ploughing. It is ploughing parallel to the contours of a hill slope to form a natural barrier for water to flow down the slope. So here you can, in this picture you can see the contour ploughing. Right friends, the last one is shelter belts. Friends, in the coastal and the dry regions, rows of trees are planted to check the wind movement to protect the soil cover. So here you can see the shelter belts. Friends, this is the planting trees in rows, several rows, so that the wind movement is slowed down, so that we can prevent the soil erosion. Right friends, now we will try to understand one more important resource, that is water. Friends, water is a vital renewable natural resource. 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water, and it is therefore appropriately called the water planet. So we call our earth also earth as blue planet also. It is because of the surface of the earth is dominated by water. Right friends, it was in the primitive oceans that life began almost 3.5 billion years back. So as you all know, the life has begun in the oceans, in the water. Friends, fresh water accounts for only about 2.7% of the entire water. Friends, nearly 70% of this occurs as ice sheets and glaciers in Antarctica, Greenland and mountain regions. Right friends, only 1% of the fresh water is available and fit for human use. So you might be astonished by these statistics, but this is real. So what is that? Only 1% of the fresh water is available and fit for human use. Friends, it is found that as groundwater as surface water in rivers and lakes and as water vapor in atmosphere. So fresh water is found in groundwater, surface water, rivers, lakes, and as water vapor in the atmosphere. Friends, water can neither be added nor subtracted from the earth. Friends, its total volume remains constant. So we cannot add water or we cannot subtract it. Its total volume remains constant. Friends, its abundance only seems to vary because of its in constant motion, cycling through oceans, the air, the land, and back again through the process of evaporation, precipitation, and runoff. Friends, this we already know, that is called water cycle. Okay friends, now we will try to know some facts. The first one is, in 1975, the consumption of water for human use was 3850 cubic kilometers per year. Friends, it soared to more than 6000 cubic kilometers per year in the year 2000. So the demand for water is really increasing at an alarming rate. So friends, the second fact is a dripping tap water wastes 1200 liters of water in every year. So friends, please try to save every drop of water. Okay friends, water for agriculture, industries generating electricity through reservoirs of dams are the uses of the water. Friends, increasing population, rising demands for food and cash crops, increasing urbanization and rising standards of living are the major factors leading to shortages in supply of fresh water, either due to drying up of water resources or water pollution. So friends, these are the all factors that are creating the shortage of water. Friends, we will now try to understand the problems of water availability. Friends, there is a scarcity of water in many regions of the world, and as you all know, it is expected that if at all there will be a third world, it will be fight for the water resources. So such is the graveness of the water scarcity in the world today. Friends, countries located in climatic zones most susceptible to droughts face great problems of water scarcity. Thus, water shortage may be a consequence of variation in seasonal or annual precipitation, or scarcity is caused by overexploitation and contamination of water resources. Right friends, now we will know one more fact, that is Amreli city in Saurashtra region with a population of 1.25 lakhs is completely dependent on purchasing water from nearby taluk. So in India, some cities are completely ran out of water resources and they are completely depending on purchased water. Okay friends, now we will try to understand the conservation of water resources. Friends, access to clean and adequate water sources is a major problem facing the world today. Friends, even though water is a renewable resource, its overuse and pollution make it unfit for use. Friends, also discharge of untreated or partially treated sewage, agricultural chemicals, and industrial effluents in water bodies are major contaminants. So friends, because of all these factors, the water resources are being contaminated. Friends, they pollute water with nitrates, metals, and pesticides. So friends, in this picture you can see river Yamuna, how it is being polluted, and it is said that the river Yamuna, especially in and after Delhi, is nothing but a drainage canal. Right friends, most of these chemicals are non-biodegradable and reach human bodies through water. So non-biodegradable is they do not degrade through natural process, and they somehow they reach the human bodies through water. Hence, water pollution can be controlled by treating these effluents suitably before releasing them into water bodies. So what is the solution? The solution is we have to treat them before releasing into open environment. Friends, forests and other vegetation cover slow the surface runoff and replenish underground water. Friends, water harvesting is another method to save surface runoff. So what are the measures? One is increasing afforestation, and the second one is water harvesting. Friends, the canals used for irrigating field should be properly lined to minimize losses by water seepage. Friends, as you all know, in our country, the canal irrigation is predominant, if not the largest one, but many regions of our country are dependent on canal irrigation. So we have to take measures to prevent the seepage from the canals. Friends, sprinklers effectively irrigate the area by checking water losses through seepage and evaporation. So sprinklers are actually comes under micro irrigation, and we can, by using them, we can prevent the water wastage. Friends, in dry regions with high rates of evaporation, drip or trickle irrigation is very useful. Friends, in this picture you can see a water sprinkler. This is water sprinkler. Friends, here is one fact. Rainwater harvesting is the process of collecting rainwater from rooftops and directing it to an appropriate location where it is used for future use. Friends, on an average, one spell of rain for 2 hours is enough to save 8,000 liters of water. So, the rainwater harvesting has a great potential. Right, friends, now we will try to understand natural vegetation and wildlife. Friends, natural vegetation and wildlife exist only in the narrow zone of contact between lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, and we call it as biosphere. Friends, the life supporting system is known as ecosystem, and vegetation and wildlife are valuable resources. Okay, friends, we understood the term biosphere, and we understood the term ecosystem. Okay, friends, the wildlife includes animals, birds, insects, and as well as the aquatic life forms. Friends, insects like bees provide us honey, help in pollination of flowers, and have an important role to play as decomposers in the ecosystem. So insects help us in these many ways. Right, friends? Here in this picture you can see Brahmakamal. This is a medicinal herb, and in this picture you can see a bird, that is blue kingfisher. Friends, here you should know one important thing, that is the decline of vultures. Friends, vultures in Indian subcontinent were dying of kidney failure shortly after scavenging livestock treated with diclofenac. This is a painkiller that is similar to aspirin or ibuprofen. Friends, efforts are on to ban the drug for livestock use and breed vultures in capacity. Means, as you all know, the diclofenac use in the animals has already been banned in our country, and there is a breeding center in Pinjore, Haryana, to breed the vultures in our country, because vultures are critically endangered. Right, friends, now we will try to understand the distribution of natural vegetation. Friends, the growth of vegetation depends primarily on the temperature and moisture. Friends, the major vegetation types of the world are grouped as forests, grasslands, and scrubs and tundra. Friends, the forests are thus associated with areas having abundant water supply. So one important factor that impacts the forest is water availability, water supply. Friends, short stunted trees and grasses grow in the regions of moderate rainfall, forming the grasslands of the world. Friends, in this picture you can see grassland as well as the forest. Friends, thorny shrubs and scrubs grow in the dry areas of low rainfall. Friends, in such areas, plants have deep roots and leaves with thorny and waxy surface reduce loss of moisture through transpiration. So these are some of the adaptive measures that adopted by the plants to survive harsh climate. Friends, tundra vegetation of cold polar regions comprise of mosses and lichens. So in tundras we can see major vegetation is mosses and lichens. The area tundra region is not suitable for growing big trees. Not even small plants, only mosses and lichens grow there. Friends, to feed the growing numbers, large areas of forest have been cleared to grow crops. Friends, as you all know, the population is increasing. So to feed the increasing population, many areas of many forest areas have been cleared to grow crops. Friends, forest cover all over the world is vanishing rapidly. There is an urgent need to conserve this valuable resource. Okay, friends, conservation of natural vegetation and wildlife. Friends, forests are our wealth. Plants give shelter to animals, and together they maintain the ecosystem. So, plants give shelter to animals, and both plants and animals give a balance to the ecosystem. They maintain the balance in the ecosystem. Friends, changes of climate and human interferences can cause the loss of natural habits for the planets and plants and animals. Friends, many species have become vulnerable or endangered, and some are on the verge of extinction. Friends, deforestation, soil erosion, constructional activities, forest fires, tsunami and landslides are some of the human and natural factors which accelerate the process of extinction of resources. So these are all factors that are causing the decline or extinction of the resources. These resources, especially the wildlife resources. Friends, one of the major concerns is the poaching, which result in sharp decline in the number of particular species. So especially we can see the case of tigers and one-horned rhinos. The poaching, the problem, the threat that has posed by poaching to these animals. Those are tigers and one-horned rhinos. Their numbers have been declined drastically because of poaching. Right, friends? The animals wildlife can be conserved by increasing awareness. Friends, similarly, we have created natural parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves. So we have created all this to protect the wildlife. Friends, conservation of creeks, lakes and wetlands is necessary to save the precious resource from depletion. So especially to protect the aquatic animals. So conservation of creeks, lakes and wetlands is necessary. Okay, friends, human activities in several parts of the world have disturbed the natural habits of many species. Right, friends, here in this picture you can see a black buck, and this also needs protection because it is under threat. So friends, in this picture you can see the loss of a rainforest in Great Nicobar after tsunami that occurred in 2004. Right, friends, here we understand a term that is national park. Friends, a natural area designed to protect the ecological integrity of one or more ecosystems for the present and future generations. That is national park. Friends, in the three segments, those are biosphere reserves, wildlife sanctuaries and the national parks. The national parks are the most strictly protected areas. So you should know this also. Right, friends, awareness programs like social forestry and Van Mahotsava should be encouraged at regional and community level. Friends, school children should be encouraged to bird watch and visit nature camps so that they appreciate the habitat of various species. Friends, many countries have passed laws against the trade as well as killing of birds and animals. Hence, in India, killing of lions, tigers, deers, great Indian bustards and peacocks is illegal. Friends, you should know that we have Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Under that act, so killing of all these animals is a criminal act and illegal. Right, friends? An international convention CITES has been established that lists several species of animals and birds in which trade is prohibited. So we have an international convention CITES under which the trading and killing of animals is prohibited. I mean, especially the trade of threatened species is prohibited. Friends, conservation of plants and animals is an ethical duty of every citizen. So it is ethical duty of every citizen to protect both plants and animals. Friends, in this picture you can see a herd of elephants in the Kaziranga National Park. Friends, Kaziranga National Park is in Assam. And in this picture you can see a herd of cheetahs. Friends, now we will try to understand the term biosphere reserve. It is a series of protected areas linked through a global network intended to demonstrate the relationship between conservation and development. So I mean, the biosphere reserves are to demonstrate the relationship between conservation and as well as development. So there should be a harmony between conservation and development. Right friends, now we will try to know about the CITES Convention. This is the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. Friends, this is an international agreement between governments, and it aims to ensure that international trade in specimens of wild animals and plants does not threaten their survival. Friends, roughly 5,000 species of animals and 28,000 species of plants are protected under this convention. Friends, bears, dolphins, cacti, corals, orchids, and aloes are some examples protected under the convention CITES. Right friends, this is all from this chapter. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Have a good day.